Today's story was sent by Mike from Texas, and he shares a terrifying experience that still haunts him. Mike lived with his parents and sister in a small town in Texas. Their house was simple and located right beside a narrow road. Attached to their home was a small convenience store that supported their entire family. Because Mike's father had been sick for a long time, Mike took responsibility for running the store. At first, business was slow, and some days he barely made a few dollars. But after improving the store with new shelves, products, and drinks, with a little financial help from his cousin Daniel, things slowly started getting better. Customers increased, and for the first time, Mike felt some peace in life. But that peace didn't last long. One cold winter night, after closing the store at 9 p.m., Mike went to sleep. Around midnight, he suddenly woke up because it sounded like someone was knocking loudly on the store door. He carefully went to check, but when he opened the door, there was no one outside. Thinking it might be the wind or his imagination, he went back to sleep. The next night, strange sounds came again, like something moving inside the store, as if crates or glass items were being pushed. Mike checked again, but everything looked normal. His family believed he was just stressed from work, but the third night was different. Around 1 a.m., Mike woke up to a huge crashing sound, as if something heavy had fallen in the store. His heart began racing. Slowly, he walked to the store door and opened it. As soon as he stepped inside, he heard another loud crash behind him. When he turned around, he saw something that would change his life forever. Standing in the middle of the store was a tall woman dressed completely in black. Her hair was messy and covering most of her face. She was so tall, her head nearly touched the ceiling. Mike tried to scream, but his voice wouldn't come out. Then he looked down at her feet. They were backwards, and even more terrifying, she wasn't standing on the ground. She was floating slightly above the floor, swaying slowly in the air. Mike felt his body freeze with fear. His breathing stopped. Darkness filled his vision, and he fainted. The next morning, his family found him unconscious on the floor of the store. His face was pale, and he was sweating heavily. They rushed him to a doctor, but the doctor said it was probably caused by fear or stress, since all medical tests looked normal. However, the strange events didn't stop. Over the following nights, Mike continued hearing footsteps inside the store, objects falling, and sometimes seeing shadows moving behind the shelves. Even Daniel noticed something strange when he visited. Finally, Daniel suggested they call a local pastor known for helping with spiritual disturbances. The pastor came to the house, inspected the store, and prayed quietly while reading verses from the Bible. After examining the place, he said he believed a dark spiritual presence had settled there. And that night, the pastor decided to stay in the store and pray. For hours, nothing happened, but late at night, suddenly, a loud, terrifying scream echoed through the store. Drawers opened by themselves and objects began falling from the shelves. Then suddenly, the lights went out and an icy wind filled the room. A terrible, rotten smell spread through the air. The pastor continued praying loudly, commanding the spirit to leave. The disturbances continued for some time, but by morning, everything finally became quiet again. The pastor told Mike's family that the spirit had left the place, but they should keep the store bright and continue praying regularly. For a while, life slowly returned to normal. Mike reopened the store after several weeks, but while cleaning one day, he discovered something strange hidden under a pile of cloth, a very old, yellowish sheet with dark stains that looked almost like eyes. The sheet gave off a horrible smell, so he threw it away immediately. Even after that, the store became mostly normal again. But sometimes, late at night, Mike still hears soft whispers or strange movements in the silence. And sometimes in his dreams, he sees that same black-clothed woman sitting nearby, speaking in a familiar voice, but with eyes that don't look human. Mike says that experience taught him one thing he will never forget. Not every shadow is harmless, and not every silence means peace.